Hello and welcome to Radically Aligned. Oh, I'm so excited to have you on this journey with me. My name's Vicky Chisholm. I'm going to be your host. We're going to be exploring all things alignment in business and in your soul. We're going to be bringing together some amazing episodes to help you cultivate the alignment that works for you so you can have soul-aligned business success. But more importantly, we're also going to be bringing in guests for interviews so you can learn not just from me, but from experts all over the world. Are you ready? Let's go.
Hello and welcome back. Oh, I'm so excited about today's session. We have got the amazing Kerry Trivette with us today, talking all things radically aligned in business. Now, Kerry comes at things with a little bit of a different standing point, but her main focus is mindset. So, Kerry, tell me a little bit more about you, what you do, where you're from, and let the audience know who you are.
Thank you very much, Vicky. So, as you warmly welcomed me, I'm Kerry from Katie Life Coach, and I set up my mindset coaching business just over a year ago, really. Essentially, I've been coaching people for over 20 years, but becoming independent, it became very clear that my life needed to change, and it was a case of nearly hitting burnout. And that is why I have the niche of focusing on burnout. So essentially, I guide leaders to prioritize wellness, to beat burnout and learn healthier habits. And that is so vital in today's society because we are in a massive burnout crisis. And the driver behind that was personal. And I would also say the driver behind it is because I want to create change. I want to show my son, who is such a strong character, that he needed me to be around for him so much more, and he has a lot to work with a condition that he has, and he has something called Tourette syndrome. And so, without obviously going on to a deep dive on that at the moment, those are my two drivers. The personal alignment for me is to create change for, giving people a stronger mindset.
I love that. I love that. So I'm going to kind of throw a little bit of a spanner in the works here, just a little bit. And we are just going to dive straight in because we're going to be getting to know Kerry along the podcast. Okay? So I have a little bit of a different standing point when it comes to mindset. And a lot of online spaces, articles, magazines, excuse me, will all say that mindset is everything. And I completely disagree.
And I agree with you. I totally agree with you. I agree.
My standing point is that your mindset is the aspect of the energy that you hold within, because the energy feeds the mindset. When you shift your energy, you can shift your mindset. So it's getting a grip on the energy to feel more empowered, to then change the mindset, to then have the structure, the control, the empowerment of your own life, your own being, your own journey ahead. So how does that fit in with your work? That's what I'm really keen to learn.
Do you know, it fits in beautifully, actually. It aligns really well because I'm always consistently talking about it's an holistic approach. It has to be a 360 holistic approach, because you can say as much as you like that I'm going to work on one particular aspect of your life. But if you don't look at yourself as a whole, as you said, we're all energy, you are never going to push through and become more fulfilled. And that's the real success and the real luxury in life, is that peace, that calm, the energy that you've got within yourself. So as a mindset coach, I focus predominantly on getting a strong mindset, but how we get to that from the roadmap that I give to clients and what have you, is the starting point has to be, how do you see yourself as a whole? It has to be that. My program, Simply You, is to focus on simply you, but looking at yourself as a whole. So mindset is 90% of how it will push us through. However, it is definitely a different aspect where you've got to look at your physical aspect, you've got to look at your emotional, your spiritual, all of those different 7 areas of wellness are essential to good health.
I love it. I absolutely love it. So, Kerry, tell me a little bit more about what made you focus on mindset being the core aspect of your business model.
It's my strength. That is my strength. And utilizing my strength to show other people that you can overcome huge challenges is practicing what I preach, is walk your talk. And that's not to say that my life is perfect. Nobody's life is perfect. We need to get that out of people's heads because no one's life is perfect. But my mindset is really, really strong. And it's something I have to work on every single day. However, it's because of my tips and my techniques, my daily consistent healthy habits. That's the reason why I'm so strong in my mind, that pushes me to overcome life, because life is very difficult. Let's put that out there. Life is very hard, but also it's got many wonderful aspects to it. It's how you view it. So, for instance, mindset. I could wake up today and say, "Oh my gosh, it's a really great day today. I feel really crap," or "It's January. It's that time of year. We need the rain. It's essential for our health. Let's crack on. What am I going to do about it? What am I grateful for? I'm grateful for X, Y, and Z." So it's creating, and like you said earlier, that energy. And you can shift your mindset at any point, but it's through consistent daily habits and changing that mantra in your mind that helps you get through difficult times.
Mm. So one of the things that I learned through my transition of learning about a healthier mindset, because I was in such a dark space for so long, isolated, abuse. I didn't know what a healthy mindset looked like because I'd never been taught. I'd never been shown. I'd always been put down, been doubted myself. So when it came to me learning about mindset, I really struggled with just changing my mind, because I might want to change my mind, but the thought wouldn't go anywhere. So some people might say that was intrusive thoughts, but from my experience, I don't believe it was intrusive thoughts. I really genuinely feel that's just how I perceived things at that time because I didn't know any better. So when the brain is programmed in that way, I was really grateful and really thankful to be given an opportunity to go and learn EFT so I could transform the thoughts in my brain and the energies in my body and go on that huge transformational journey that ultimately changed my life. But not everybody has that opportunity. So in business, we'll just come back to business for a second here. Mindset is a huge part to play when it comes to achieving goals, desires, dreams, aspirations, whether that be through you want to set up a charity, whether it be that you want to go and be the first person in your family to become a millionaire, whatever the drive is and whatever the goal, you've somehow got to find your own way to overcome that mindset programming that you have learned over the years and unlearn it. What would your process be in supporting your clients with that?
It's a very good question. And fundamentally, it's one size doesn't fit all. You have to remember that everybody is different. So although I have my programs that I will coach one-to-one, I have, with my coaching, there's 3 different ways that you can work with me. It's with the one-to-one coaching, it's either in small groups or as a speaker at the different events. But when I'm conversing with the clients, it's finding out what their pain points are. And we all have them. And it's identifying and understand that person's lifestyle. Where's the blocks? How are we going to then look at how to reduce what is blocking that person from feeling the better version of themselves? And that's the key here, isn't it? And we also have to realize that rest is productive. You've got to sit in your shit. I'm going to say that. You've got to sit in it. The only way that I overcome my hard times, and they have been really, really difficult times, through divorce, grief, lots of really, really hard things. And accepting the fact that my son has a condition nearly broke me, nearly absolutely destroyed me. But the only way that I dealt with that was, yes, putting and utilizing my tips and techniques to focus on consistent daily habits, but it's also realizing the acceptance. The first part of anything is to accept what's happened. And if you don't accept it, it's going to keep coming back. The generational trauma, whatever that trauma is, and we've all got trauma. And the quicker we realize that we all got trauma and stop pretending we're not human is the better scenario here. The quicker you realize that you have to accept that pain point, and it's going to come back. It will continuously come back, but every time it comes back, the anxiety will feel less because you've put these tips and techniques into place. I've been here before. I'm not going back there again. And it's each step, taking each step again to realize that actually you're breaking it. You're going to continuously break it because you've made those consistent daily habits.
I love that. And I love that you're choosing to support consistent daily habits. I know from personal experience that committing to daily actions was one of the hardest things I ever had to do. And it was only when I got fully committed to my journey, to my transformation, to the fact that I was not going to spend my life the way that it was being dictated to me, that I was able to then put in some daily habits to create the change that I was seeking. Mm-hmm. One of the things that my mentor taught me, and it has stuck with me ever since, what you resist will persist. And when it comes to resistance, I find there are two ways that we can deal with it. So I come at it from an energetic perspective, which enables us to change the dynamic of the mind and the emotional intensity. But I'm interested to learn more about how you support someone who may be neurodivergent, who may be so tapped into spiritual connections that they receive information 1,000 miles an hour. They can't focus on one thing at a time. They struggle putting in that daily consistency. What would you suggest to someone in that moment of, I'm lost, I want to do this, my brain's not letting me, how do I move beyond this? Because you must get that a lot as well.
Of course I do. And tapping into the fact I'm a teacher, I was a teacher for over 20 years, and I would, come across lots of children and people, because I've led lots of small teams, who are neurodivergent. And I'm definitely undiagnosed ADHD, and it's always been my superpower. It's always been my superpower because I can be speaking to you, there could be someone next to me having a conversation, I can hear what they're saying, and I can process what I'm doing at the same time on a project, which is incredible. But if you don't know that you are a neurodivergent person, or your brain is working in that way, it's very overwhelming. So that's another reason why I teach modalities such as breath work, yoga and mindfulness, because my son also has ADHD. So it's essentially coaching him, myself, and therefore then gives me the practical and not just the theory to be able to say to people, I relate to that. I relate because I know how it feels when your brain is whirring. Thankfully, mine doesn't, because I stop it, because I know how to stop it. I know how to set my daily intentions. Again, going back to the daily habits, it's setting your daily intentions, it's staying on task, it's making sure, and I might sound like I'm a bit square here because I'm not, I'm flexible, but the reality is making sure that when you're doing a particular project or you've got a particular client, everything has to be timely if you're neurodivergent. Equally, there are three different types of people with ADHD. So it's when I communicate with someone who has a special need or a condition, it's tapping into what their lifestyle is as well, because it's then looking at, so, okay, as I said, the word reduce earlier, reducing and redesigning, what can you realign to make sure that you are not overwhelming yourself because your brain is already so busy.
Yeah, I hear that, and I'm totally with you every step of the way on this. So one of the things that came up when you were talking is I, from my own experience, learned that when I understood myself, I was able to work with my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So in your programs, you're working with people's minds so they can accept and learn more about who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a really powerful thing you're doing, Kerry, because what you're giving people is self-acceptance and showing them that there's nothing wrong with them, but actually everyone is different and unique. And I think that's so beautiful and so powerful. And we really do need that. So coming back to the entrepreneurial space for a moment, what is one of the biggest challenges you see with entrepreneurs, and it doesn't have to be a challenge, in their mindset when it comes to growing, growing and delivering their businesses?
Mindset shift. It's a mindset shift. It's the overwhelm. It's the burnout crisis we're in, because we are in a huge burnout crisis. And as you know, I also am a sustainable business developer, and I've got my own business where we are focusing on green solutions. So that's how I interlink wellness and sustainability. And so therefore, these two pivotal periods of time, and bearing in mind that wellness and sustainability are both ungoverned at the moment, and wellness is seen as woo-woo, it's getting the leaders, the CEOs, the COOs, whatever title, let's be honest, does it really matter what title you have? No, absolutely not. It doesn't impress me at all. What impresses me, and this is what I try to guide leaders to accept, is that they have to lead with intention.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to, as we said before, breaking it down to, first of all, accepting who you are, where you're at, and it's meeting people where they're at. So I meet them where they are, and then it's looking at and saying, okay, so you say you're never going to change, but you can't stay stuck where you are because you're not fulfilled. You don't feel like you're getting out of that overwhelm. But this is how we're going to do it. And the way I would then guide them is say to them, okay, this is therefore your program, your roadmap that you need to look at to reduce time with being online. The disconnect, we are consistently online all the time, and it is overwhelming. We are in a world that is out of our control. What we can do is control the controllables. So therefore, it's the first point is to accept where they're at, understand what the pain points are, and knowing that they are going to therefore then push through to realign, and again using that word reduce, because you've got to reduce the overwhelm to have a sustainable lifestyle. Your mind is not going to feel calm and peaceful until you learn to reduce, and learning to say no. No is an acceptable word, and having strong boundaries in place within business is essential.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I completely and utterly agree with you. So just kind of moving into a different topic ever so slightly here. When it comes to mindset, and obviously the work that I do is all about stepping into radical alignment, soul alignment, doing things that are actually heart-led, staying focused in your own lane, not getting distracted by all the freaking noise online, or from the external, whether it be someone's opinion, whether it be someone's expertise, their guru status, or whatever it is. So in terms of mindset, Kerry, how would you suggest for those that are listening in and they're thinking, gosh, I really wish I could get my mind just to play a game with me for 5 minutes? What would you say to them in terms of bringing them back into an aligned state so that they can then step into their business from a more aligned way of being in terms of their mindset, their thoughts, and the overwhelm that might present itself?
A holistic approach. So the Simply You program, from my perspective, is that we have to then put into place these consistent habits. So there are three. It's a trio of an ecosystem that I put into place. So it's personal wellness. That is a non-negotiable. That is every single day. Then you've got your home management, and then you have your professional development. And each day you're going to focus on just one for each three, if that makes sense. So therefore, your professional development is obviously has to be in every day because you're going to work, or you might be at home and you might be coaching, wherever it might be. But your personal awareness is fundamentally the most important. And that means through movement. That means from any way that you can put time aside, and you can put time aside to maybe go for a walk to work, go for a run, do some yoga, do some form of movement. There's a reason why the Japanese are the healthiest and they live the longest, and they are the happiest, because of their ikigai approach as a concept, isn't it? And someone introduced me to that, and it's focusing on your purpose. So the ikigai approach is, what is your purpose? What gets you out of bed in the morning? Now, don't get me wrong, I don't wake up and go, oh my God, I'm buzzing that I'm alive. No one does. That's crazy. But I wake up and I go, right, I've got another chance. Got another chance for another day. And then the process kicks in. It's the gratitude. And I've already set my daily intentions from last night's journaling. So you've got a whole process in place. So therefore, you're going to crack on with your daily intentions. You're going to move. You're going to therefore eat well. You're going to eat clean. You're going to make sure that you're only around people that are like-minded. And you're going to therefore be around people within your personal life who are going to lift you up, rather than giving you that feeling of dread, because no one should live a life half lived. A life lived in fear is a life half lived. So therefore it's staying really strong, and like you said, with your alignment, it's making sure that you stay consistent. And when you consistently communicate, you'll always be connected. So it's communicating exactly what you need and staying within it. And it's communicating with yourself. We all talk to ourselves. We've all got an inner chat. And so it's those daily mantras that you were telling yourself. I've given you a roadmap, my coaching to them. I've given you a roadmap. This is your mantra that you've put in place. You're going to stay on task. And it takes 21 days. It'll take 21 days to kick in. And it's hard. It's really hard. You know this. We both know it. It is a really, really hard obstacles to overcome. But what's the other option? Staying still?
Well, the other option is you stay stuck and you don't move and you don't achieve the things that you want to achieve. And ultimately, what happens then? You end up frustrated, you end up depressed, you end up throwing spaghetti at the walls, clutching at straws, and all the freaking rest of it. That's what happens when you choose not to do it. But I just want to touch base on something you've just said there as well about the 21 days. And I couldn't grasp it at first. I was like, don't be so bloody ridiculous. It's not going to take me 21 days to change a habit that I've had for over 30 years. Hello, wake up to anybody listening. From my own personal experience, if you commit to something for 21 days, you can change a habit of a lifetime.
Exactly.
So this was something that I went on like many, many, many years ago, and I created my personal power program from that as well, because I thought, well, if you commit to yourself for the next 21 days, you're going to start changing it, but we're going to do it for 28 because we're going to freaking integrate this shizzle, right? That's how it's going to do. Do you know that's changed lives?
Of course it has.
It just changes lives by doing that one thing for 21 days.
Yeah, stay strong. You've got to stay strong. It's not easy. It's not easy. I know. Yeah.
And get this, right? If you break one habit a month for 12 months, you have just broken 12 freaking ingrained habits.
Exactly.
12.
It's a no-brainer. Now you've probably read that book, Atomic Habits by James Clear, isn't it?
I haven't, no.
Love it. That was a game changer for me. And like yourself, I'm always on self-development and reading and learning and what have you. But you have to be careful of that, because how much can you read? How much can you consume? That's what we've got to be really careful here. And I'm sure you do the same. When I'm coaching, is to not overwhelm again, because otherwise you're putting in more structure, more ego. So mine's reduction. It's always reduction. But going back to the habits and the 21 days, that book that I just mentioned was an absolute game changer for me. It really, really helped me to focus, prioritize. And I've always been a relatively healthy person. We've always, difficult times and where I haven't been. But yeah, it's fundamentally, it's knowing that you stay in that consistent lane, you're gonna crack it and push through. And you sometimes do pivot. Sometimes I've said to you before, we know each other. I might not want to go for that long run. I might not want to go for that long run. I'm still going to go for a run, but it's going to be half. But I've still done 100% because I've realigned and set my task to be half. So I've still done it. I've still put in 100%. So it's just being kind to yourself. Still do it. Whatever you've put in your daily intention, you might have to change it a little bit because life is tricky. We've got families, things happen, deadlines change. I get it. But still do it. Still do, and just realign it.
Absolutely. Oh, Kerry, it's been absolutely amazing to chat with you today. So tell me one more thing before we wrap up. If you could give anyone a golden nugget today to help them really do that mindset shift in where they're going and what they want to achieve, what would you tell them?
Everything is possible, just not at the same time. And you just need to focus on that and just be kind to your mind because, again, disconnect from tech, stop overwhelming yourself. And comparison is a thief of joy. So just focus on what you're doing, focus on your life and forget about what everyone else is up to. You've just got to stay on your own track, in your own lane. And as I said, everything is possible, just not at the same time. We can't juggle all those plates.
No, and I love that. Let's stop juggling the plates and let's actually simplify things, especially in business.
Yeah.
And one thing I found, because obviously I do a lot of the psychic business strategy side of things, is when we simplify the process, the vision becomes easier to achieve.
Absolutely. And that's why
the mind doesn't need to create all those stories. But I think we could talk all day. We could go into nervous systems. We could go into all of the shebang, but we're going to wrap it up there. Kerry, where can people find you?
So you can find me on 2 platforms. I am on Instagram as Katie Life Coach and on LinkedIn as Kerry Trivette. And my website for my coaching is katielifecoach.com. Yeah, it's lucky I remember that, isn't it, at the end? But yeah, it was lovely talking to you. And as you said, we could talk all day, I'm sure. I'm going to put in place another program so you can clearly see I don't do everything for business because mine's a lot of the time not always looking at it as a motivator for money, but as a support mechanism. I have on Wednesdays with a psychotherapist. We're going to put another program into place. We did one for six weeks, which was lovely. So on Wednesdays, keep tuned for another 6-week program is going to kick in, where we will discuss all types of things about anxiety and mindset and just the world in general.
Love it. Thank you so much, Kerry. It's been wonderful to come and see you. I'm saying Katie now because that's the initials. So if you go up on the socials, make sure you put a K and a T. You don't spell Katie and you'll find her. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you in the next episode.
That's a wrap for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit subscribe and we'll see you in the next one. All these episodes are created in line with my book, Radically Aligned. Go check it out on Amazon, grab a copy, and let's get you started. At the back of the book, they'll also find a QR code where you'll get access to some amazing resources. You don't want to miss it. See you in the next episode.